Hey everybody, welcome back to another chemistry quiz review video, where this time we're discussing everything that has been covered in class for Unit 4. I would say this is probably some of the more simple stuff we have covered this year, so let's dive into it. So first we're discussing the formation of ions. Know that metals form cations, positive ions where they lose electrons, and nonmetals form anions, which are negative ions where they gain electrons. For example, we have sodium, which forms a cation, and chlorine, which forms an anion. So you need to know why metals lose valence electrons and nonmetals gain valence electrons. This is essentially what we discussed last unit. I'm not going to dive into that here, but make sure you have a good understanding of what we did last unit. And know that some common charges are formed in groups 1, 2, and 3 of the periodic table, and groups 15, 16, and 17 of the periodic table, where in groups 1, 2, and 3, we form cations of +1, +2, and +3 charge, and in group 15, 16, and 17, we form anions with -3, -2, and -1 charge. Essentially, everything on the left side of the periodic table will be metals, and everything on the right side of the periodic table will be nonmetals in these ionic bonds. So now we're discussing electron transfer and Lewis dot structures. Use dots to show valence electrons, and use electron transfer, or show electron transfer from metal to nonmetal. I pulled this image straight from the slides provided by the chemistry teachers. So essentially we have magnesium, which is a metal, and oxygen, which is a nonmetal. Magnesium has 2 valence electrons, oxygen has 6 valence electrons. This is your Lewis dot structure, and this is where you show the electron transfer. You get Mg +2 and oxygen -2 because magnesium gives its 2 valence electrons to oxygen, so oxygen can fill its octet. So now we're discussing the crisscross method. Basically, you use ion charges to determine subscripts. So in aluminum and oxygen, aluminum has a +3 charge and oxygen has a 2- charge. You just cross the 3 and the 2 to get the formula. Give the 2 from oxygen to aluminum and give the 3 from aluminum to oxygen. You get Al2O3. You can ignore the signs of these numbers and just write the formula. In the next slide, we're going to learn how to name these. So essentially, you get a metal and a nonmetal, and when you write it, we have magnesium plus fluorine equals MgF2. So how do we say this? The metal name stays the same, and the nonmetal gets the suffix "ide." So in magnesium and fluorine, we get magnesium fluoride. In sodium and chlorine, we get sodium chloride. So now we're discussing polyatomic ions. You can find all of the necessary polyatomic ions on the back of your equation sheets, on the back of your periodic table that is provided in class. And essentially, when you write these formulas, it's the same thing, same concept. You have calcium plus this polyatomic ion, crisscross method, and you get calcium and this polyatomic ion with calcium's 2 charge. Use parentheses when more than one polyatomic ion is needed. So essentially, all of these polyatomic ions will need parentheses when you are writing them on your test, when you are combining them with anything else. So again, when you're naming, you say the metal first and then the polyatomic ion name. So here we have calcium nitrate. All of the names will be found on the equation sheet as well, so you do not need to memorize any of these. Just make sure you don't get mixed up because some of these names are similar to others on the back of your equation sheet. So make sure you're not using two of the similar polyatomic ions and messing it up. Finally, counting total ions in a compound. This is probably the easiest thing. You basically just count up the subscripts. So in the calcium nitrate, we have 1 calcium and 2 nitrate. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Remember, we already performed the crisscross method to get the formula. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And another example, aluminum chloride. We have Al plus 3, Cl minus 1, crisscross method. Al1, Cl3, 1 plus 3 equals 4. So that's basically it. Remember to reach out to your chemistry teachers if you have any remaining questions. I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the easier units we do this year, so make sure you have a good understanding of this. A good test score would probably be beneficial since it's still kind of like the beginning of the marking period. I hope I did well explaining everything in this video. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And I just set a new goal. I'm hoping to get to 150 subscribers by December. So please help me out and good luck on the quiz. Thank you guys so much.